Welcome back to the competition studio at the 2025 International Paderewski Piano Competition in Bydgoszcz. I'm Jared Dunn, and today I'm joined by the conductor in the semifinals. This is Paweł Kapula. Thank you very much for joining us.
Nice to see you again.
Likewise, we had a wonderful chat the last time, so I wanted to talk to you again, basically on the same topic, because you're here doing the same round and the same repertoire, basically.
Yeah, basically, yes.
How have the rehearsals been with the Mozart concerti?
Difficult, as always it is with Mozart, with any of his pieces. They were good, though. Yeah. Very intense. The one thing during every competition is that we really lack the time. So we basically have 30 minutes to play everything through. And then we have 5 or 10 minutes to do some patches, but it's usually not enough. And then there's always something a conductor would like to also tell the orchestra, which always takes you this additional 2 or 3 minutes. And yeah, the pianists, they always need to know exactly what they want, because there's no time for this, like, you know, okay, maybe this, no, this. So it's really an intense and very hectic work. But anyway, it has nothing to do with a concert live rehearsals.
I was just going to ask you, because I mean, we complain about getting only 1 or 2 rehearsals and then a dress rehearsal. Yeah, but this is so short.
Yeah. So it has been good, but not easy. Yeah.
How prepared do you find the competitors?
Very well, actually. Yeah. They are all playing on a very well prepared level. I mean, the technical things, of course, because then there's the interpretation, the rendition, which you can always discuss, but the baseline is there. I think that they have no problems whatsoever.
Is it really possible in a 30-minute rehearsal to get the interpretation to really gel with the orchestra?
It is. If everyone is like really 100% focused and concentrated on what they do. It would help if we could speak a little bit before the rehearsals.
So the first time you meet them, they're walking on stage for...
Exactly. And also there were some competitors that we didn't have any break between. So we some concerti were separated by 10 or 15-minute break, but some were not. So I didn't have any chance to ask any question. Yeah, so that would have been easier, but yeah.
If you do have this time to sit and discuss with somebody, what do you usually want to talk about?
Well, I usually start with some very crucial places, technical. With Mozart, that would usually be cadenzas. Actually, this competition is quite easy for me. I remember that 3 years ago we had 5, or I think there were 5 C major, 21.
I remember.
This time we have none, which is also surprising because it's such a famous, probably his most famous work. And the piece is famous for a lot of small and quick cadenzas in the finale, which always end usually without any break, coming to this with something before. And I remember that the last time a lot of pianists prepared their own cadenzas.
Yes.
And it was difficult for me, because it's easy to say, you know, like, okay, I'll show you or something, but then you stand in front of the orchestra, you listen to them, and the only thing you can hear is the harmony that changes, but you don't know where it goes, because you've never heard it before.
It's a new cadenza.
Yeah, and that was stressful. This time it's much easier, so that's one thing I always start with. Then there is tempo. That's crucial for Mozart. Things like balance, dynamics, that's what we can actually do on stage with the orchestra. We can just discuss it, but it's pure theory, so it doesn't make much sense. So that's it.
What do you wish in general that pianists were more prepared with when they come to the general rehearsal? Is there anything you generally encounter that you wish pianists knew about playing concertos with orchestras?
Any concerto.
Anything.
Do you speak about the first rehearsal, the first meeting between a conductor and an orchestra and a pianist?
Yeah, I'll rephrase the question. What strikes you as being a really well-prepared concerto? What elements tell you as a conductor, okay, this is going to be fine?
It's very easy for a conductor to realize when a pianist knows the score, not his or her score, the orchestra parts.
Tell me about that.
They just know that they have to look at me, listen to me, that they know that when they finish the phrase, they have the bassist play the pizzicati, and they have to wait. I love playing with soloists generally. I really enjoy doing that. I would love, and I really dream of preparing some concerts that will consist solely of solo works.
Wow.
And I really will follow you, but still there are some places where you have to be because there are 80 or 100 people.
Right.
So that's very easy to distinguish. Very easy. Also, when you look at the best pianists, something, for example, a lot of Beethoven cadenzas in concerti, they finish in this nasty way for a conductor, meaning a very long scale. Sometimes it's hard to beat, or play in a very detailed manner. So and of course, it doesn't matter if you know that there are 80 or 100 notes. That's where you need the pianist to be with you. And you can hear with the best pianist, there's famous recording of Marta Argerich playing Beethoven's second piano concerto.
I know exactly the moment.
Yeah, but the conductor was a little bit late, and she waited, and she played like pam. That's what you don't have to explain. So that's this good, of course it comes with experience, that's normal. But that's what you don't have to explain. Also the balance, that the really, when you're very well prepared, the pianist know where he or she could hide a little bit more because there is a clarinet, or the soloist is just kind of following my interpretation or the musician interpretation, and it's not demanding all the time to, to be the star.
Yes.
And the last thing I'd say is just maybe a very individual rendition. But I'm not speaking about, I don't know, I will change piano to forte or adagio to allegro, but something that you can really, something that you can say from the very first note that, oh, okay, that I can hear that it's something that you really feel, and that's your way of playing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you feel this very personal conviction from the soloist, you can immediately identify this and move along with it, with the orchestra. You feel this is very clear?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And also a good orchestra will follow. So a good orchestra will always follow a soloist, no matter what. But if the soloist is special, I mean special in a musical playing, I'm not talking about names or something, just this special kind of preparation and special kind of knowledge and kind of experiencing the piece, the orchestra will fall even more. Yeah. So
one of the things that we see from the hall, of course, in a Mozart concerto, we can hear that this concerto is designed for a chamber orchestra. But that's a really high level of listening required by both the pianist and the orchestra. What kind of things is the orchestra waiting for in terms of what the pianist does and how clearly the pianist makes their intentions known?
I think with Mozart, and it can be really tricky sometimes, is keeping up the right tempo, especially when you have a lot of these changes of patterns, like the technical things. And you play something and then comes this left hand, taka, 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 taka. And sometimes it's really hard. I can understand that for a pianist it might be hard to really stay all the time in tempo when you hear something else happening in the orchestra. But that's really difficult, and I'd say that that's something that the orchestra would really appreciate, not having to, listen too carefully or being like that all the time. But it's also something that with which the conductor can be really helpful, because sometimes even during this edition the pianist plays so soft that the musician just will not hear them
on stage.
So it's basically between me and the pianist, and then the orchestra is following me, because that's just normal.
Now that can be also in a chamber orchestra situation, because I have played, let's say, Rachmaninoff second, and of course some people on stage will not hear what you do if it's really soft, because it's Rachmaninoff and it's such a huge orchestra. But in a Mozart concerto, it seems less likely that the orchestra wouldn't be able to hear everything, but as you're saying, some pianists here are playing quite soft, and it's not possible to really hear everything. Yeah. On that point, how loud is too loud in Mozart?
You'd have to give me an example. It's really hard to say.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it's not about dynamic, it's about the color and the essence of a sound.
Now you've just hit on the point that everybody knows about Mozart. It sounds really easy. It sounds much easier than, let's say, even a Beethoven concerto or certainly than a Brahms concerto. But what are the real challenges in making a Mozart concerto work?
Articulation. I think that's it. Really.
And when you say color as well, something about color.
Color too, but with Mozart it can be tricky, and because you can play super soft pianissimo, but where is this point where it becomes Debussy, right?
Yes.
For example, for the strings. And of course, when you play with a chamber orchestra, it's easier to be done. No? But articulation is something you can really achieve almost everything, and it actually doesn't only apply to Mozart.
Right.
You can play fortissimo, but you can make it by articulation, not by playing loud. Or you can play tutta forza, but tutta forza means just with all the strength, but it doesn't mean aggressive playing.
Right.
And then you can, I just say I love this kind of description of that, but Mozart needs like a butterfly forte. Beethoven is lion forte. That's this kind of distinction. But it's really not possible to say what would be too loud, because you can do Mozart with a very big, I mean, of course you wouldn't do with probably 16 first violins, because that would be more suited for Brahms or Mahler. But I don't know if a very, very good top orchestra would play with 12 violins, they could have better forte than a Bach chamber orchestra, right?
Right.
Which would play softer, but maybe not with the same quality. So it's really not, it's something, it's live music, something that you always have to react live on.
Okay, so speaking of that, there was a question I wanted to ask you, and you've just handed me the prompt, so thank you. When working with these young talents at the competition, how many of them are looking at you when you need them to be during the performance?
Oh,
and they're prepared to make eye contact.
They're prepared, and I'd say I don't know if they had any orchestral contact before. We actually didn't discuss it. Some play as if they have already had quite a lot. Some maybe a little less, but they are all very careful. And I also can see that even if they don't look at me, or they listen. And sometimes, of course, you can play, look at your hand, but you see me with, like
the
angle.
corner of your eye.
Exactly.
Periphery, yeah.
So there were no problem at all. I think they're really careful, and they really strive to give their best, and yeah.
Before we started our interview, there was a replay of the K450, which is very, very rarely played, this B-flat major concerto. And you were making some comments about the articulation, about this performance. What did you like about this performance?
I think this, the articulation, but what also came with it, being like every note was just perfectly executed with the same kind of weight. So you didn't hear that one is stronger, one is like maybe weaker. That's what I really liked, and that I found colors of the piano very bright. I don't know how it sounded in the public or during through the live broadcast, but that's what I heard, being very close to the piano, just next to it. So yeah, that's what I like, and kind of youthful way of playing that, because all of the pianists are young, so.
One of the things a teacher once told me when I was preparing a Mozart concerto for a competition is that your left hand really belongs to the orchestra in these pieces. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah.
What does a piano professor who has a lot of experience teaching might say something like that from their experience with orchestras, but I'm curious, what does that sound like to you? What does that mean? when you tell a student your left hand in a Mozart concerto, or really any concerto, it really belongs to the orchestra?
I think it really applies to this kind of stability that can be conveyed through the left hand, and something that the orchestra takes up. Also, we are not taught it during our orchestral studies, but when you I have had this experience with some of the conductors I learned from. I always try to have the podium shifted a little bit so that I can see actually the pianist's hands.
Really?
Yeah, and that also helps, because sometimes you just don't hear. Even if you play very easy things for you, which is a sometimes when the orchestra plays forte, I just don't hear the 16 notes. So then it's very helpful for me to see. And also, you don't actually, pianists don't realize that, but you can also give upbeats with your left hand, like conductors. Because when I see this, I know where the sound comes, and then in this very moment, I can give the right upbeat for the tempo, because I know when the sound will change.
So there are moments, even in a concerto like K450 or 459, which we'll hear later, a Mozart concerto, the tempo is a really active thing. You don't just set it at the beginning and then motorically you have to keep referencing it?
Well, it should be more or less the same, no?
But the performance of it is something that if you make this contact and you can feel the pianist is really with you in tempo, then it's not like we set the tempo at the beginning and then we just play, but you keep reminding each other, and there's a contact there. What does it feel like for you as a conductor when a really young pianist who, maybe they don't have a lot of experience yet, but they seem to understand this intuitively, that they need to be in contact with you all the time and keeping the beat and keeping the pulse? What does it feel like as a conductor?
It feels good.
Yeah?
And it feels right,
And there must be a wonderful click in Mozart, which is such delicate and precise music in a way. I mean, and we can hear in the hall exactly what the equipment of the pianist is, how prepared they are because of this connection to the orchestra.
Yes, but it's not as huge as in the late Romantic concerti. I mean, Mozart is, it's very difficult on one hand, but on the other, it doesn't give you so much flexibility and freedom to kind of, make maybe some kind of experiments even during the live performance, which you can actually do with all of the, later pieces, even with Beethoven. Absolutely.
What's the difference? I mean, can you expand a bit on that? Are there some examples in later concerti you feel are more flexible?
Well, I wouldn't, for example, I can give you an example. I had a concert with a very fine Georgian pianist, Marianna Shirinyan. She lives in Copenhagen. She's really wonderful. And we did Grieg piano concerto. We had very good rehearsals. We really liked each other. And during the performance, we trusted each other so much that we started changing some things, and we followed that.
Wow.
So I was conducting, and in one moment I thought, no, I need ritardando here now. And I knew I could have done it because the orchestra was very good, so I knew they would follow me. But I was like, no, I know I didn't do it before, but now I will conduct it. I did it, and she, absolutely, that was like a conversation. She did it. And then she made some things that were really surprising. Like she changed some tempi or some rubati that I didn't expect, but I was listening, the orchestra was listening, and there was this trust in between us, and it clicked. Wow. With Mozart, you wouldn't do it.
True.
You wouldn't put a random... I mean, you could do maybe accelerando at the end of D minor.
Right.
Things like that, but you wouldn't suddenly stop to fermatas, take big breaths. That's what you can, I mean...
I understand.
That's what you do in Brahms, in maybe not in Chopin, but in Schumann, in Brahms, in Grieg, in Tchaikovsky.
There's room for it, is what you're saying.
That's what I mean.
That in a Mozart concerto, maybe it wouldn't work as well.
It's very disciplined in that. You need the discipline. And it would be just not right, no? If you started doing this.
I happen to agree, even in the slow movements, and that was my next question. So we're listening to the fast movements of Mozart. They're delightful, they're enjoyable. Even the minor ones that are very dark and dramatic, they're still really somehow enjoyable to listen to in a different way. But a slow movement, that's a special skill, especially for a young pianist to play slow and maintain the line and keep the connection with the orchestra. What are your thoughts on how different slow playing is for pianists than fast playing? What are the skills they need? What sort of things do they need to do to make a slow, soft movement be electric and exciting to listen to?
We are doing the 23rd Piano Concerto, the A major, a few times with probably the most famous second movement in the world. And I think that could serve as a perfect example of that, even with the, with the perfect beginning and hitting this beat, with the great balance, dynamic, left hand being together.
When the orchestra joins.
Yeah. But even the very beginning before us, so that's because it's so exposed, you can't hide anything.
True.
And Mozart is so, it's really strange in that way. Because I'm just thinking about the second slow movement of Schumann. And it seems so easy to start, no? Yam, bam, bam,
of
bam.
Schumann.
I mean, it doesn't give you this psychological disturbance.
True.
But this, that's nothing, no? Like from the musical point of view, nothing. That could be written by a child. 2 notes, dam, pa, pam.
You're talking about the Mozart now? Yeah.
But play it.
Oh my God, yeah. In the right hand.
That's the difficulty, That's strange, but it can't be explained somehow, but
it's true.
It is there.
And that's where Mozart, I feel, is so special to listen to, because his dialogues between woodwind instruments and the piano, it's so special.
Yeah, it is. It is, and really the concerti are so well crafted in terms of orchestration and everything. Yeah. And as we were discussing before going live, the less known works are really just like gems, so precious.
They are. This B flat is very underplayed, and the F major as well.
2 B flats actually, 15, and today we are doing 27.
27. Yesterday
was F major. And I think that's it, because then we have the D minor, C minor, and A major. Yeah. And the early piano concerti, I think even some pianists, they don't know it, because it's really rarely played.
Yes. Yeah. As a conductor in your career in general, do you do a lot of Mozart?
No.
What do you generally conduct?
I do much more Beethoven. I'm a Beethovenian man, certainly.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Beethoven concerto to conduct?
4 and 5, but I love all of them.
I never asked the conductor this yet, and I probably should have. What are you thinking about for the first 8 bars of Beethoven 4?
What do I think about it?
Yeah. What goes on in the mind of the conductor before bringing in the orchestra?
I've never thought about it, actually. I've done it recently, a month ago.
Who played?
Ronald Brautigam. We did it in Hanover. And the only thing I actually dwell upon is that the perfect beginning of the orchestra actually goes on you, not on me, because you introduce it.
As in the pianist is responsible. That's kind of a relief, because I tell my students who are playing this that it's their job to bring in the orchestra, which I think is true, because for me this is one of the most terrifying pieces to start.
That's very actually similar to the second slow movement of Mozart, like this kind of, But that's true, because you have to give us inspiration. Not only it needs to be played beautifully in the musical way, but also it's such a source of inspiration for us. Yeah, and I love that some of the pianists play the. I think Ronald, because he's famous for Beethoven, he did it many times on historical instruments and modern. He opens that with arpeggio, which is very, very interesting. And also and that's for every pianist who listens to us now, you should find his recording, because he recorded the version of this concerti, the early version, which I had no idea that existed, for a chamber orchestra. And really not many people know it, and it's so different. It has so many beautiful, like all of these small notes, the grace notes. It's like a completely different world.
And a different experience of orchestra. Than the whole symphony orchestra.
Absolutely, yeah.
What do you find, because you conduct a lot then, if you're doing more Beethoven than Mozart, you would conduct the full symphony orchestra. But when you're working with the chamber orchestra, what changes for you? How is it different?
It's easier usually.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Because the chamber orchestras, because they are smaller, they usually know each other better, they have played for many years, they listen better. Yeah. Because sometimes they play without conductors. So it's just like you enter a community, and then you have to you have to adjust in a way, or just find a way to understand them and make them understand you, of course. But it's easier than bringing, 100 people together. Chamber orchestras are always better in this sense, because they are just, and that's what's usually the quality of the best symphonic orchestras, that they can play with this chamber-like quality.
It's more intimate, the communication, than more direct.
Yeah, and they're listening to each other and everything, yeah.
How are you finding among the competitors their ability to react to the orchestra in the moment? To internalize what they're hearing, to maybe adjust their tempo that they have practiced by themselves to fit the orchestra? How's the reaction level?
It was, I'd say it was fine. It was fine. There were some moments we had to work on, but it was very short, very quick. So I was asking for some maybe more attention to some places. But the second I asked them, and then we tried those places, it was absolutely perfect.
Was the tendency for them to be too fast or too slow? Yeah.
Usually to rush.
What do you think it is about pianists that when they get into a situation, they're playing a Mozart concerto, that they think they're actually late, so they speed up?
I don't know, but it's a lot of people. It's not only about pianists, It's like every instrument rushes. Yeah.
In becoming a conductor in general, how close is the relationship between how you study conducting and then how it actually is to work with an orchestra?
It's totally different. It has nothing to do, with you actually. I think it's safe to say that you actually learn how to conduct when you stand in front of orchestra.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have this baseline, the theory, you have to know the scheme. That's obvious. During your very first rehearsals, it helps you, but the help is like 10%.
Really?
The rest is swimming in a pool and trying to catch breath. It is like that.
Wow. Is it ever overwhelming then? Like at the beginning, I'm assuming that can be quite
It is, and it also depends on the people you meet. I mean, the musicians, whether they are understanding.
So how do you act as a link between the soloist and the orchestra? How do you communicate?
Generally, not at the beginning of your career, just
generally speaking, what are some ways? Because we pianists, right, we practice by ourselves, we meet with the conductor, we tell you what we want to do, and then we get to sit there with the orchestra and everything changes. You actually have to work in the moment, not just on your ideal version, but often we don't imagine how much responsibility is on the conductor's shoulders.
Are you asking what do I do?
Yeah, what would you suggest pianists understand about what your role is to communicate between the soloist and the orchestra and to make this work?
Well, it's just like I'm standing in between two worlds, which should be one.
Right.
And I have to kind of reunite you and them. And I usually don't have time for that, meaning that I have to do it in the moment.
Yes.
Because I listen to you, I show something to you, and then it all somehow has to come together. But it's really difficult to explain. It's also impossible to explain. That's the magic of music and conducting, that some things are, you just can't catch them.
It sounds like, by what you're saying, it must be a thing of personalities and just artistry helping you work together through...
Absolutely, yes.
The point of my question is, this is not a process that is easy, and it's not a process we have a lot of time for.
Yes, absolutely.
We spend much more time working ourselves alone, and the orchestra, they're practicing by themselves. They might have one general rehearsal, and then we have to pull something together that's going to cut muster in front of the public. And often, if anything goes wrong in the communication between the soloist or the orchestra, it's going to be on your shoulders, right?
Yeah.
Because you're the one standing between these two worlds. Basically, what I'm driving at is that it's not just waving your arms at an orchestra, cueing them. There's a lot of communication going on. And do you feel this heavy responsibility in a competition?
Oh, yes, it is.
Is it a lot of pressure?
It is, because I'm there to help them, basically, and to make them play better and to make this whole performance better.
Yeah.
So if they, you know, if we had a concert and they say, okay, I want to do this here, and I know, I hate this idea, we can discuss, and I can say, well, maybe less, or maybe let's try it in a different place. But here, I can't do it. I can't imagine a conductor should do it. I mean, unless it's very stupid, which doesn't really happen during the big competitions.
Right.
If it's like something totally unlogical, again, that could be okay. No, like we can't do it. But
like a crazy written or
something,
making forte what's written piano or something.
Exactly.
Like
but usually I should follow every idea which you would like to execute, and I'm trying to do it. And the pressure also comes from this thing that we repeat so many concerti, and that sometimes like, oh my God, who's, you know, did he want ritardando here, or did he? And
you have to keep the details in your mind very clear about who wants what thing.
Exactly.
And, wow. And does the orchestra also, do you think they just sort of know based on your cueing?
Yeah, only that. I mean, they also remember some.
Yeah, sure.
But some.
Are there some personalities in the competition artistically that have been very interesting for you?
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Yes, a few years.
That's great.
I
won't press you any further because there's still another performance this evening. But just last question. What does it give you as a conductor of many orchestras all over the world? What does it give you, or why do you come to a competition like this and conduct when you have so many other projects?
Well, I like being here, and I as I mentioned, I really enjoy working with soloists. And we have beautiful repertoire. So I see only positive and, like, you know, good thing about it. So I really enjoy it, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's nothing I was forced to do. I was offered that, I accepted it, and I really knew what it was coming with. But I remember my first time here 3 years ago. It was also very enjoyable, and yeah. Yeah,
well, the soloists are lucky to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time today. It was great to chat with you.
Thank you.
And I look forward to hearing the concerts tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll now go to Elliot Cicino's performance of the F Major Concerto, and we'll see you back in the competition studio in a couple of days' time on the first day of the final. Thank you very much.
The 13th International Paderewski Piano Competition in Bydgoszcz, Poland. November 9th to 23rd. Watch live broadcasts online. More information at paderewskicompetition.pl and on social media.
Bydgoszcz. Jedno miasto, dwie rzeki, tysiące historii.
Energia jutra zaczyna się w umysłach, które sięgają dalej. Energia jutra to bezpieczeństwo, rozwój, niezależność, wielkie inwestycje dla pewnej przyszłości. ORLEN to więcej niż przystanek na drodze. To droga. Energia jutra zaczyna się dziś.
Stadiony, baseny, muzea, opery, te i wiele innych obiektów powstało ze środków przekazanych przez Totalizator Sportowy. Od 1994 roku przekazaliśmy na te cele ponad 22 miliardy złotych. Totalizator Sportowy, właściciel marki Lotto.
The 13th International Paderewski Piano Competition in Bydgoszcz, Poland. November 9th to 23rd. Watch live broadcasts online. More information at paderewskicompetition.pl and on social media.
Cukiernia Sowa życzy Wam słodkiego dnia. Codziennie.
13. Międzynarodowy Konkurs Pianistyczny imienia Ignacego Jana Paderewskiego w Bydgoszczy.